Welcome to Court Style. Today, we're going to be looking at a pomade that's been on the market for a while. It's a water base, but not quite a water base. It's a Daimon Barber #1. This is a pomade that's been out for a while. It was innovative when it was made. It's seriously innovative now. And I've had an excellent few days using it, and I am seriously happy with this stuff. And I imagine that I will keep it in the rotation all the time when I'm looking for something not grease, not oil type, something that's a little bit more maybe easygoing, right? So let's get into it. It is a made in the UK pomade. There are some stateside companies that sell it, and that could save you on the shipping and the shipping time as well. Some special edition stuff you only can get directly from Daimon Barber, and you will have a link for their direct in the comment box below. It is a glass jar. Daimon Barber was one of the first to do this, and I really think it sets them apart as far as quality. And the paper on the label is this textured kind of parchment looking thing, and I really like that. The lids are like this really thick plastic, and I mean the glass on this jar is real thick too. It's thicker than a lot of domestic US-based companies that put their pomades in glass jars. 100 grams, so it's just under 4 ounces, which, I mean, it's a European product, so you're going to get metric weights and measures. As far as the presentation, every Daimon Barber product has a different color label and a different color jar, and of course different Sentinels and all that. When it came to describing the scent, it can best be described if floral could be manly. Like it's not all flowers and light. It's not all heavy and dark or smoky or leather or any of that, or vanilla even. It has a bright floral and kind of herb scent to it. I really like it. This was another thing that really set Daimon Barber apart, is all of the scents are seriously good. Each of them seriously different from the other, and all having their own little individual product attributes that make each one of their 5 ones they have out now really, really good stuff. So, ingredients. 2 of the major ingredients that set Daimon Barber 1 apart is the bee propolis and raspberry silicone. Both are meant to nourish hair and scalp, prevent hair loss, and these are the kind of things that really put Daimon Barber products on that higher level. You have a consistency. Oh, one more thing before the consistency. All of them have a date on the bottom of the jar, and that is because, you know, the bee propolis, and especially the bee propolis, not as much the raspberry silicone, have expiration dates. So, like a lot of water-based pomades now have expiration dates on them, this has had it for a while now. So, either way, scooping out. It's interesting, the scoop out. It's thick, but it's not like really thick. I mean, it sort of scoops out like a gel type, but it feels like a putty more, which I thought was interesting. I mean, I liked that it had a kind of a putty feel. And then that's the other thing. This is a water type, water based, but when you've got ingredients that in the list is beeswax, castor oil, these are the kind of things that aren't usually in gel water bases. And specifically, I mean, it's a gel water base in a sense that it's not a grease, like an oil base, but there's all kinds of characteristics about this that just set it so far apart. So let's get to application. So you saw the size of that lick. Medium light hold for a lot of people, especially that are used to heavier products. This did not, you know, give them as strong a hold. So that tends to be for Daimon Barber 1 specifically. One of the biggest things that has turned people off of it is a Depending on how much you use and if your hair is wet or not, it can be a medium light. So the spreading is pretty smooth. It really goes in easy. And it almost has all of the attributes that you like in a oil-based or an orthodox water-base, but it like has that gel ease of use and gel spread and just everything about it that makes a gel really cool or really easy to use. It's got that. So it's kind of like a hybrid product. Like, I mean, I'll be chatting to people. I'll be chatting with people and they'll say, oh, well, Daimon Barber 1, gel type? No. Unorthodox water base? Also no. I don't think it's an unorthodox water base because it doesn't have... I mean, it has beeswax, but it doesn't have, like, as much. So it doesn't have the texture of what, nowadays in 2016 we think of as an unorthodox water-based pomade. So, I mean, those are the two licks I think we're going to do, and I really think this is enough. It does not take much to get a really nice style with it. So, yeah. Yeah, you know what? We'll go with that. Now, specifically for control and slickness. I mean, slickness, you can see there's a little bit of tension when we're coming through, but not a lot, right? The slickness is keeping hairs pretty together. Your comb goes through, hair kind of finds its own way. It isn't really being dragged one way or another, so that's kind of nice. And, I mean, this is one of those products, like I've said in other videos, some of the best pomades let your hair be your hair, but they don't... Yeah, what's the best way to say it? They let your hair be your hair, but they don't, force it into shapes that it's not really supposed to be in. I mean, obviously a heavy hold will do that if you're using a heavy hold pomade, but when it comes to keeping flyaways down, when it comes to keeping things down in the back, like this back here, I'm going to get a little bit of an extra application because I need a haircut and I've got this lifting back here. When you're talking about, products that really let your hair speak, the Daimon Barber products, because they're just so good quality and natural, I really feel they can do that. Shine, this is another one of the alike water-based attributes. The wetter your hair, the higher the shine, drier hair, more matte finish, right? And that was my experience when I did a more, like I was rushing, got out of the shower, did a super wet application. I mean, it was okay, but when your hair's too wet, you can kill a lot of the hold, especially in a water-soluble like this is. So you do want to be careful with how wet your hair is if you've got difficult-to-style hair. And another thing, when you're going through Daimon Barber 1 and you're feeling like, app-applied but pre-styled hair, you can feel that, like, tackiness that I was showing earlier. You can feel it in here. And that tackiness is another one of the parts about this that makes it so special and so different from most easy-to-use water bases. That scent is just so nice. It's so different than, like, what a lot of other pomades can do. I mean, is it the bravest scent in the world? No, but they all are, they're so classy. Like, all the scents, Daimon Barber products being made in London, do have that kind of European classiness to them. You have a medium advertised shine on this, and that is what I get. What I liked about this, again, even though it's a water base, what I liked about it is that the shine, like, really held behind even after the product like dried or set. And this, for a gel type or for a water soluble, let's call it that, it didn't have as heavy of a drying aspect as a lot of water soluble pomades do, because you know your water evaporates, and what are you left with? Basically the pomade's ingredients other than water, which are everything from glycerin to oils to waxes. In this case, both oils and waxes. So, but the raspberry silicone and the bee propolis are really going to help hair loss, your scalp health. You know, like after washing out Daimon Barber, while my hair does not feel crunchy or gross or stiff or at all unmanageable. This has never been a water-soluble pomade that I've had to, you know, use hair tonic with to try to, like, you know, be manageable the next day if I'm not going to shower and I'm just going to do, you know, apply build-up or apply over build-up or just rinse my hair or whatever, right? So we're going to do my normal style, a little bit of volume in the front, try to get some texture and round shape. There we go. All right. So for endurance, it stuck behind. It really did. The quality of the hold, you know, where I put my hair, it really did what it was supposed to. And the setting is there. Again, the wetter your hair, the higher the shine will dull as it dries. But when you go after and restyle, no wet combing necessary. You can just take your comb out and run through it, almost like a grease. Like, it really has that kind of a feel to it. It can be restyled like an oil base, which I find is one of the nicest features about it. And one of the things that made it, when this stuff got released years ago, made it such a ahead of its own curve product, right? Hardness, I mentioned that a second ago. It doesn't set like crunch up or anything like that. I mean, you can totally touch this all day and your hand doesn't feel gross, and it'll move around a little if you need it to. It can be something, especially with like a shorter hair, or a hair maybe half my length. It really can give it nice texture without having to be like a drying clay or anything like that. It can be a nice, kind of just a supple feel in the hair. I mean, mine comes down to right about my nose, so it kind of gives you an idea. If you had hair like, you know, here, and you do a side part or a contour or something more plain, it would really give you a nice feel. Restylability, as mentioned, it was easy to do, but it wasn't like oil-based restylable. But keep in mind, this stuff scoops as easy as a gel, works like a gel, washes out almost as easy as a gel. I'm willing to give up a little bit of those other parts, right? And oh, speaking of that, washability. Came out easy. It was easy to wash out. There was a little bit of buildup but stayed behind. Most likely that's the beeswax and the oils that are in here. Specifically, we have castor oil. So that was definitely something that I noticed that was my preferred rather than mineral oil, right? When it comes to the buildup quality, it feels clean. It doesn't feel like a heavy buildup, like you're not going to put your hand through and you can feel the waxiness, or you can feel the oiliness. It's not like that because it's almost 100% water soluble. And as far as the overall makeup of the product, the left behind buildup I think is quality enough that you could, if you didn't even want to rinse your hair, it's definitely something that you could just apply right over top of buildup. And I think I did do that for one of the days. And it was on the second day, and it really did feel good, right? It didn't feel gross, or my hair didn't feel dirty, because sometimes when you do over buildup, your hair can feel dirty, especially if you don't have or want to use a hair tonic, oil-based or otherwise. And a note on the product, and this is, again, put it so far ahead of its class, it is no parabens, no nasty chemicals, nothing that's going to strip the moisture out of your hair, and, of course, because of the raspberry silicone and the bee propolis, they do break down over time. And also, Daimon Barber says on their website, and anybody that carries their products, because it's a natural ingredient, the propolis and the raspberry silicone, they can not only break down over time, but because they can vary in color, you might not always get this kind of rose sort of color on the inside. It can vary a little bit one way or another. So, that's Daimon Barber number 1. It is probably one of my favorite in the Daimon Barber line, and their products are excellent quality. You should go pick yourself some. There will be links in the box below on the multiple places to get this stuff, either direct or from a reseller here in the States, which if you're in the US, I recommend because of shipping time and cost. Either way, like, subscribe, stay greasy.